will be presenting about blockchain. So who here has heard of blockchain or like any cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin or Ethereum? Okay. So because of the complexity of blockchain, I'll like have a brief introduction of like blockchain. And so what is blockchain? So blockchain is a peer-to-peer distributed network which don't have like a central authority to control over it, and they're all organized in blocks where the blocks are linked together using cryptographies. And so there's like centralized ledger where we have traditionally, and distributed ledger, which blockchain uses. Centralized ledger, you would go through everything through the bank or like the centralized authority, and distributed ledger is that every nodes have the same level of authority. So consider an example when you're transferring money to a friend in a different country. So the general option is to transfer it through a bank or app such as PayPal, but then there's like the third party in the middle, so there's transferring fee that will be deducted from your payment, and you cannot ensure the security of it since hackers may hack in the middle of the transaction and you might lose your money, and like there's a risk of using traditional transferring. So in this case, if we're using blockchain, the process becomes more secure and easier since there's no third party in between, there's no transferring fee, and which eliminates the third party, and it's decentralized and it's kept in public, so it reduces the chance of hacking. So how blockchain works? So basically, first a user will request for a transaction, and a block will be created to represent the transaction, and all of the block is broadcasted to all of the nodes of the network, and then the nodes will like validate the blocks and the transaction. After the validation, the block will be added onto the chain through cryptography, and so that the transaction will get verified and executed. So there's public and private blockchains, which public blockchain is that anyone can participate, such as Bitcoin or Ethereum. And there's private blockchain where participants are all known and trusted, such as IBM and the Cocoa framework by Microsoft. And so the cryptography in blockchain first is initiation and broadcasting, where it involves digital signature and private and public keys. Validation includes proof of work and chaining blocks, including hash functions. So examples of blockchain applications. Although Bitcoins and cryptographies are like the most common and most famous application of blockchain, it also let businesses, industries, and entrepreneurs to explore further of the potential of the technology. So the smart contract of blockchain, including first, the contract is created between two parties where both of the parties are anonymous, and the contract is stored in the public ledger. And the second one is triggering events such as deadlines are set. So basically, the contract self-executes as per written codes. And third one is the regulations, and users can analyze all of the transactions so that they can predict the market uncertainties and trends of the company. So the advantages of using blockchain technology includes faster settlement, it is faster than the manual process of validation. Immutable includes like the transaction cannot be undone once it's added onto blockchain. It is shared in distributed ledger so that it is open for all users. It is decentralized so that it's not dependable on like one of the server-based technology, and no one has authority over it. It is more secure and more capable than traditional methods. So downsides of blockchain technology includes first the speed and scale, which Bitcoin can only take 7 to 15 transactions per second, where Visa can attain up to 56K of transactions. And they need business to be confident and need them to be transparent, including power consumption where they're extremely energy intensive. They have unknown security where there's like an incident of $50 million stolen from Ethereum-based organization, and we're not sure who's updating the software of blockchain. So prediction of blockchain is first by 2030, most government will create or adopt a virtual currency using blockchain, and blockchain identity for all, which is a single source of verification for identities and assets. And then there's the world trade on blockchain, which most world trade will be conducted leveraging blockchain technology. and global supply chain, and blockchain for good, which is the improvement in the world standard of living using blockchain. So this is the end